Hi, this is May.
And I'm Joy.
Welcome to the QWERTY Writing Life Podcast, where we have candid chats about our creative lives.
May and I are friends, writers, and creatives who want to share our endeavors out loud.
On this podcast, we're here to encourage each other, and you too,
and share tools we've discovered or made up.
So you can follow your passions with a little support. So grab your tea
or your coffee,
and let's get started. Great. So hello, folks.
Hello, everybody.
It's another week, and we are back with you to talk about our creative weeks and a new topic. So, Joy, what was your creative week?
Okay, so I have been working on some updates to my author website, which is something that you just always have to do constantly, make little tweaks and updates, and I've kind of let it go for a little while. So I've got quite a few things on every page to update, and so it's a little overwhelming at times, but it's fun too, because you think through, okay, well, what's the most important thing? What do I want people to see right away? What do I want them to take away? Where do I want to point them? And that kind of thing. So
it's like a riddle.
It's like a riddle, yeah.
Okay, so for my creative week, I did a lot of revision, and I'm still working on a project I can't tell you guys yet, but it is nonfiction, and it is super fun, and it's getting done, and I love seeing the progress. I love forming it into this thing that I can share with the world, and it's wonderful.
Yay.
So that's a lot of suspense, and I'm sorry about that, but that's what I did.
I know what she's talking about.
Oh, just rub it in for all those people.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So today we're going to be talking about being created to create. And we thought that this was important because there are so many people who don't feel like they have creativity inside of them at all. That they just feel like, you hear it a lot whenever you start talking about the things that you're doing, the things that you're creating. Or people, oh man, I sure do wish that I could do that, but I am just not a creative person. And that is saddening. It's heartbreaking to Joy and me whenever we hear that response, because we know like the fulfillment that you get from creating anything, even if it's small, the small to the large. And so today we just want to sit here and say that you were created to create, and you do have creativity inside of you. You just got to find it. So if you look around, and if you're around children at all, and they don't have to be your children, they could be any children, but if you're around children at all, you may notice that they are inherently creative and imaginative. So at the dinner table the other day, a napkin became a boat, which then became an airplane, and the action figure that was on the table like defied gravity, and then he braved perils of the placemats and the condiments to make it over to the land of his brother's plate. So I had two boys, and they were just like all over the place. It was the cutest thing, but it also was a reminder that, this happens naturally for these kids. We were this way too. We're adults now, but we were this way too once in the beginning. And because our Creator made us in His image, we instinctively desire to create in some way. It's natural. We do this on purpose and for a reason. These kids do this on purpose and for a reason. So there are pictures of me in outfits that had a reason at the time, but to the rest of society, they just looked ridiculous, There are stacks of drawings everywhere, and I had this closet in middle school where I could stand in and shut the door, and that was the place that housed my imaginary worlds. I spent hours and hours in there. So maybe a good question is, what happened, right? Yeah. So as we grow into adults, I grew out of my creativity. And I know that sounds crazy, but I had life things happen. But the truth of the matter is, what happened, I have a few thoughts on this. So it's like, the first thing that I could think of was that there are just so many boxes that I felt like I had to fit into. And these boxes were created by society, and society is strict. If you don't fall in line, then you don't win. You know? Like, so, or that's at least what's portrayed to us as we're growing up, and we're trying to learn what the world is like, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not inside of the box, you're outside of it. So that's one of the things that I thought. Like, we have all of these rules that were put onto us, and we're trying to follow these rules, and we're not really thinking about what we want and what we are able to create. And then I also think that potentially corporate America has a hand in the reason why we're not super creative. So for a long time, and I love seeing the change that's happening right now. But for a long time, if you wanted to make money, your option was to risk it all and start your own business or do something that seemed crazy to a lot of other people. Or you potentially go into conformation, and you conform to organizations and businesses that need particular characteristics in people. And that's not saying that they're wrong for that, because they are the ones who are running their business too, and they need particular things in order for their business to be successful. And sometimes that's us, or we can be that thing. But if we are so focused on helping other people fulfill their dreams and helping other people build their businesses, we sometimes lose a little piece of our own desires and needs and wants and our own creativity. Sometimes you're punished in corporate situations where you actually express creativity or a different way to go about something. And that's not what they want. They have their well-oiled machine, and they want that to continue to be a well-oiled machine. And you got to make a decision. You just, every time that you're squelched, I guess you would say, in the creative world, I feel like you lose a little bit of that braveness that we have as children. So another reason that we could have lost this is because of rearing. It's a funny word.
It's a funny word.
So it's when you're writing things down and you write a word, sometimes it doesn't come across as funny until you say it out loud.
It's true.
Rearing. So the way that we're brought up is another way that our creativity can be pushed down a little bit. So there are some cultures or households that praise the selfless child who isn't a bother and learns to give to the point of personal destruction. That child learns to give to the point of personal destruction. There's no reason to discover self-identity because you grow to mold yourself to the situations and the surroundings that you're in. And so you can make other people happy. And that's the goal the parents want the child to have, is to make other people happy and to make their lives easier. And I hate that it comes across as a bad thing, because there is a healthy level of selflessness that we all need. And sometimes I think, especially in the South, that we raise our children and we're trying to give them that healthy level of selflessness and to consider others and to give of ourselves the way that our traditions and our religion and our spirituality wants us to. But a lot of times that can come across too abrasively, and children grow up to be people who just give and give and give and self-destruct, which is a real big killer for creativity. So another reason that you might not have a lot of creativity in the forefront of your life right now is for lack of motivation. So you've tried to follow a passion, but it burned you. And now you don't know who you are or what you want to do because you're paying your bills and you're not dying, which is better than the previous results of being burned. So
Self-preservation.
It's a little self-preservation. That's right. And the thing is that if you are living in this survival mode mindset, then you're not really concerned with what you're making and what you're creating, and you're not really concerned with play. And we'll talk about play in a second. So, what do you do if you are someone who does not think that you have creativity in you, or you've realized that it has been just pressed down inside of yourself? It's been oppressed. Well, to try to help you revive that creativity, we've come up with a couple of things. The first one is to love a kid. So it can be your own or it can be someone else's, but you just watch a kid and you watch how he or she plays. And here's the big kicker, you got to join in. So that's the key. You have to play with them and see how their eyes light up when you share an imaginary world together, and how they expect you to continue the story that they started, and they expect you to be a real life character inside of their imaginary world. And it's really just quite a beautiful thing. Whenever I was trying to figure out what was going on with me, I didn't even realize that I was dead inside until I had kids. So I just thought that this is how life was. And then I had a kid and I started watching him, and I was like, I've lost something, because if this is something I had. I hear stories all the time of how I was when I was a kid, and I sound like a really cool dude, like, and I'm not now. So what's happening? What happened between here and there? And I lost that ability to play. And that's kind of the next thing, is creative play. So I know that you don't necessarily want to pull out the Barbie dolls or the G.I. Joes or anything like that, and that's so fine. But there is a level of creative play that we can have as adults. So you can commit yourself to learning something that is considered creative. So go to an art class, or how about you get on a swing set because you want to? There is so much creativity in nature that you can observe and you can also be a part of. And so going to a park totally falls in line with this. But something that you've always wanted to do, just take a step in doing that. And I think that might help you move in a good direction towards your creativity. So another thing that I think helped me when I was trying to regain my sense of creativity was asking myself a lot of questions. And just like a kid does, they ask a lot of questions and they expect answers. You can't just say, because I said so. Oh, I'm almost done, I promise.
Good timing.
It was okay. Sitting there. And so kids ask a lot of, okay, I'm sorry guys. I'm going to finish this because that's what we do. And then Joy and I will get to the QWERTY challenge. So, so you're going to ask yourself a lot of questions, and most of them should begin with why, or those major questions: who, what, when, where, why. So, and then you're going to answer them. You're going to figure out what you want. You're going to figure out what you believe, and why you believe it. So big or small, why do you like your eggs runny? Do you like your eggs runny? Or does somebody else like their eggs runny, and so you ordered the same thing that they did? Oh, that's from a movie.
What yes, the eggs, with all the eggs. Oh,
the
yes.
Eggs.
I don't know. This is going to drive me nuts now. Okay, if we don't figure this out, somebody's going to have to, tell us.
Bride. It has a bride.
Runaway Bride. With Julia Roberts. Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes,
okay, so watch that.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Highly recommend.
Yes. So that's a small thing, but there's also, there are big things too. And maybe even some topics that you have shied away from because they're hard. Mm-hmm. It's time to figure out who you are and why you believe the things that you believe. And that's scary and daunting, but it is such a key thing in order to create. And to get closer to creativity, because I can assure you that as you figure out who you are and what you believe, you will see holes in the traditions that are around you that are not good for you, and in the societal the societal rules that are around you that you are following and you have no idea why. So that's how I feel about that.
There you go.
Have anything to add? I'm so sorry I kind of took all the time today. I apologize.
Nope, I think you did great. I think we're ready for the challenge.
Our QWERTY challenge for this week is actually from a book called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. It's a really excellent book to try to figure out who you are and who you are creatively as well. And so she suggests that one of the things that you should do, she has a lot of suggestions, and I really think that you should read the book. Okay. So, but one of the things that she suggests is
I'm jotting this down.
Yeah, a recommendation. So one of the things that she suggests is to take yourself out on a date, a creative date, and it's just you and you. So don't bring friends along with you. It's just you're doing this alone, okay? So this is going to be the idea of the adult version of play. So a creative date is going to be a place that maybe encourages art or story, that sort of thing. So an art gallery, that was kind of an easy example, wasn't it? But story, it could be a bookstore. It could be a movie. You could take yourself to a movie. Oh, if you took yourself to like an outdoor movie and had a blanket and you're outside in nature, which is also a creative place, that would be so fun. I'm putting myself in that moment, and I want to take myself on that date.
Sounds wonderful.
You could take yourself to a fancy restaurant where the food is art. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool thing. But here's the key. The key thing is to do it alone, but also to be super introspective. Don't distract yourself with other people, but just really listen to the thoughts that are going on in your head. If you have questions, try to answer them that come up instinctively, then try to answer them. Just listen to yourself, and hopefully the creativity around you will help fill your creative well. Wake up your right brain to be like, maybe you should make something, and then open yourself back up to creativity again, because it's in there. It's there, and it's waiting for you. And we truly, truly believe that.
Love it. Okay. Great. So go forth and find a way to pull out that creativity.
Yeah, you are creative, we promise. Oh, guys, I hope you have a great week. I really do.
You too.
We will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening until the end.
Seriously, you're a trooper.
Do you think QWERTY Writing Life is the bomb?
May, you just said the bomb.
Don't you censor me.
If you think QWERTY Writing Life rocks ice for real,
oh my word,
please rate, review, and share us with others.
If you have questions about this week's episode or want to start a conversation, you can reach us by visiting QWERTYWritingLife.podbean.com.
We'll be back next week with more candid chats for you.